Today I'm going to be telling you how to carry out artist research. The first thing you're going to want to do is find an artist. So to do this, you can search up keywords that relate to your theme. For example, if your theme is colour, search words such as vibrant, bright art, etc. You can use Pinterest and Instagram to find contemporary artists. I always use these and I think they're a really good platform. So I definitely recommend that. You should also utilise resources such as art magazines or books. You can go to the library, they have plenty of these. Make sure the artist is relevant to your theme. So if you're doing landscapes, you shouldn't be searching portraiture artists, so just make sure that it is relevant. You can visit galleries. Obviously at the moment that might not be possible, but there's also virtual galleries online. These are a really good way of discovering artists and you can see their work firsthand, which I think is really good. And then I've linked some virtual galleries there below. So now we're going to move on to writing about your artist. So you should start with some basic information about your artist. So you should include context. So what era is the artist from? If they belong to an art movement such as Surrealism or Impressionism, what country they're from, and just like some basic background information. This is going to help the audience or the viewer understand any cultural or social context behind the art. You should include at least 3 pictures of the artist's work in your sketchbook to give the viewer an idea of what they create. The key ideas behind the artist's work, so kind of what message they're trying to portray, comment on their style, the main technique, what materials they use, and what influences their work. So if there's any external influences that they're inspired by. And then just a kind of basic description of their style of the piece that you're going to analyse. So now we're going to move on to the analysis. You must include an analysis of at least one or a collection of pieces from your artist. So what I've created a structure that you can follow, you don't have to, but it's just to give you a basic idea. So you should start with your initial reaction of the artist. So what is your first impression of the work? Does it remind you of anything? What captures your attention the most? And then you should move on to a description. So describe exactly what you see in the work, what's in the foreground, background, what is like the focal point of the work, the style of the work. So is it realistic, abstract, or does it relate to an art movement that we talked about earlier, such as Surrealism, for example? And then you're going to want to move on to the analysis and your own interpretation of the work. So you should write about composition. So for example, is it balanced? Does it use the rule of thirds? What feelings does it evoke? So when you look at the piece, what feeling does it give you? Do you think, oh, this feeling kind of evokes sadness, it evokes anger, tranquility? The line, texture, tone, space, and colour. So how these concepts are used to portray the meaning of the art. And what is the key message of the work? So again, when you look at this piece, what kind of message do you think it's trying to portray? Because almost always there's some kind of deeper underlying meaning of the work. And then what is the target audience? And do you think they've been successful in capturing the target audience? So is it a work, depicted towards teenagers, adults? Does it have any cultural background? And what techniques have been used? So again, what kind of techniques do they use? Like if they do drawing, do they use cross-hatching, etc.? And then evaluation. So this is where you're going to want to get into your own opinion on the work. So you're going to have to say like why you have this opinion. You can't just say, I think this work is bad, and then just leave it. You have to go further into it and say why you don't like it or why you like it. And is it effective? So do you think the artist has been effective in portraying the meaning behind this work? Or if they haven't been effective? And how you can develop ideas from your artist, because you're most likely going to be creating a response to this artist. So you should write about what inspiration you're going to take from the artist? Are you going to develop the techniques they use? Are you going to include the materials that they have in your own response? And here I've just included some layouts of how you could structure your artist research. There's no strict rules to how you choose to lay out your artists, but I've just put these in to give you a vague idea. So that could be helpful to you. So you don't have to lay it out like this, but it's just nice to have a kind of vague structure. And that is all. So thank you for watching, and I hope this helped you.